Hi, this is Shannon McTighe with Shannon McTighe Photography. I just wanted to hop on here so I can show you how you're going to import brushes as well as use brushes that come with the Fleetwood collection. So the first thing is when you receive your file from Fleetwood that has the brushes in it, the first thing you want to do is to copy all those brushes. Once you've copied all your brushes, you're going to come up to Lightroom Classic, Preferences, and it's going to open this entire preference panel. You're going to want to make sure that the preset tab is clicked. And then you're going to go down here to show all other Lightroom presets. And click on that. You're going to have multiple folders here. The folder you want to open is Lightroom. And then the next folder you want to open is Local Adjustment Presets. And then I've already pasted it in here, obviously, but what you would do is now paste those brushes into here. And then you can exit out of everything. And then for the brushes to work and to load into Lightroom, you have to exit out of Lightroom, let it completely shut down, and then restart it. And then your brushes will be located right here on that circle to the right, and all your brushes will be listed right under here. Perfect. So as you can see, I've already edited this photo quickly with the presets from the Fleetwood collection on the left here. And for any of those curious about what I used on this photo, I ended up using Brighter +4. I used Sunlight Clean. And then I used, or Subject Light Clean, sorry. I used Background Depth Clean. I Took It Down. And then the last one I used was Afraid of Changing. And that's all I've done on this image so far. And so obviously you can see I have two masks that are already loaded in here. And that is the Subject Light Clean and the Background Depth Clean that I've already done. So once you have done your presets and you want to use brushes, brushes are nice because they help you tailor your image and to paint on more details and really bring that image to life. So you have your masks right here, and your brushes are loaded into this little circle already. So when you come up here, you'll notice that there is an eye next to the mask. If you hold the eye down, you have to hold it the whole time, it'll turn off every brush that you've used on your image. And if you let go, all the brushes are back on. That way you can kind of see a nice before and after. Or if you just want to see what one looks like off, you can go next to one of the brushes, like the subject, turn the eye off, and it'll take it off your subject. Turn it on, and it'll put it back on. Now I'm going to look at the image and say, okay, what kind of brushes do I want to use on this image? So the first thing is I would love to accentuate the light that's right here. So I'm going to create a mask. Once you click on create a mask, you have lots of options on how to create that mask. So you can select the subject, but that's not going to help me get that sunlight. You could select the sky, but there's hardly any sky. Background, but that's not going to do what I want. You can select the people here. You can select objects, brush. You can do a linear gradient, which is like a straight line, a radial gradient, which is like a circle. Color range, where you can click on a color in the image and make adjustments to that specific color. And luminance is the same thing, but for luminance. For the purpose of making sunlight, I'm going to create a radial gradient, and we're just going to make a nice big circle right here. I have my feathering turned all the way up because I do like the way it feathers out. But if you don't and you want more of a demarcated line in the middle, you can pull your feathering down. You see as I pull it down, it's a harsh line. Or you can pull it up. This is why I like it feathered. And so right now you can see what I'm working on is like tinted red. If you don't see that, make sure where it says show overlay is clicked, or if you don't want to see it, unclick it. Or if you don't like that color, you can come over here and pick a different color for your overlay. I like to see exactly what I'm working with, so I do like it to be red, and then I can see, okay, this is what I'm about to affect. I'm going to go right over here, and down here are all the brushes that were given. So for the light, you have two. You can do a soft sunlight or a bright sunlight. The soft sunlight is more hazy, kind of warm light, whereas the bright sunlight is a bit harsher yellow. So either one, whichever one works for the image. I think soft sunlight is going to work best for me. So I'm going to click soft sunlight. And I do like it, however, it is quite bright, as you can see. So I am going to come right here at the amount where it says 100, and I'm going to pull it down. And I think I'm going to pull it down to like 40 or 50. Yeah, I think 50 is perfect. And as you can tell, it did go on the little boy's head. So if you like it, you can leave it. Or if you want it off of his head, just come over here to subtract and subtract your subject. And it's going to take it right off of him. Perfect. So if I turn the eye off on the right corner over here, I'm going to turn it off. This will be, that's without the sunlight. And that's with the sunlight. So let's try another brush. Let's say I want to just affect their clothes, do something with their clothes. I'm going to create a new mask and I'm going to select people. And the difference between subjects and people is the subject is whatever the Lightroom feels is the subject of your photo, whereas this is going to select all the people. And so you can select one person, both the other person, or all of them. So I'm going to select all. And right here, these are like mask options that you can click on. So you have a lot of options. So I'm going to click on clothes. And you'll notice that it's going to turn red right on the clothes. And it did a really good job of selecting it. So it's perfect. So I'm going to make a mask just for the clothes. I'm going to create a mask. Let's say I'll come down here and I can pick any of these brushes and it's going to affect the clothes. I'm going to pick contrast boost and just see what it does. You can see it gave a nice pop of contrast onto the outfit. So that's before. And that is after. Again, if it's too much, just drop your opacity down a little bit. I'll drop it to 70 and I'll leave that as is. The next thing I want to do is I want to put a little catch light in her eye. And there's two ways to do this. You can create a mask and you can click on brush and brush it on the pupil of the eye, or you can click on people, all people. And I think I'll just do iris and pupil, and you'll notice it's going to turn red here. And the reason why I usually will go this way instead of brush, although brush seems like you can brush it on quicker, is I do tend to copy all my settings and drop it onto another photo from the same session. And so it'll copy the settings of the catch light and drop it onto the next photo and make sure it gets the catch light. So I'm going to create a mask. And then I'm going to pick catch light. And it's going to brighten her pupils up. And you can see what a good job it did. So if I turn the eye off, this is before. And if I turn it on, this is after. So I'm going to go out. If for some reason the eyes are too bright for you, again, just turn down the amount right here. The next thing I'm going to do is we're going to soften the skin. So I'm going to create a mask. I'm going to select people. We're going to select all people. And we're going to do the body skin and the face skin and create a mask. And then I'm going to come over here and go to skin glow. This is going to be a bit bright, so I usually have to lower the amount. Sometimes I don't, sometimes I do. With this image, I will have to. But I do love the nice smooth effect it gives, so I'm going to lower it to about 30. So this is with it off, and this is with it on. Perfect. And then the next thing I'm going to do is, let's see, I'm going to create a linear gradient because I want to try to show you a little bit of everything in here. So I'm going to create a linear gradient, and I'm just going to kind of go this way to them. I just kind of want this area to be a little bit darker. So I'll go down to, let's go to burn shadows. It's just going to make it really dark. So if I turn it off, this is before. And then if I turn it back on, this is after. And it just makes everything a little bit darker on the edge there. But I will subtract it from my subject so it's not on them at all. Let's say I just want to, I don't know, maybe let's just do the flowers here. Let's create a mask. I'm going to click Objects. I'm going to make this small. You have different modes. You can use a square and kind of like pick it that way, or you can use the brush, which is what I have, and you can paint over any of the spots that you want to affect and let go. And usually does a good job. We'll see, because this is a bit tricky with all the different flowers and leaves. Hey, it actually did a really good job. But I'm going to add a little. It skipped a couple of the leaves, so I'm going to click add brush. I'll make it tiny, and I'm just going to brush it on some of these leaves. And again, why I'd want to use object over just a brush is when I copy all my settings and I want to paste it onto another photo, it will pick up on these leaves and it'll place it back on those leaves on that photo as well. Perfect. So now that I have done that, I am going to come over here, and what I want to do is a color pop. This is going to affect the vibrance and really bring out some colors. That's so pretty. So if I turn this off, you can see that's it without the vibrance. And if I turn it on, that's it with the vibrance. If for some reason this is not colorful enough, you can always increase your opacity as well. Just because it's at 100, you can actually go up even more. Perfect. I think one of the next things I want to do is I want to sharpen my details. So I'm going to select the people, all of them. And I always pick both the iris, pupil, and sclera. I always pick lips, and I pick clothes. Again, I don't usually select hair, because sometimes when you sharpen their hair, it looks like you can see every single strand in the image, which I don't personally want. But I'm going to create a mask. And then we are going to go down to sharpen details. And it's going to sharpen all the spots that you see that are red. And that's going to be nice for printing or for social media and just bringing out the details. Perfect. So now that I have added all those brushes, again, up here to the top left, if I hold this eye down, it's going to turn every single brush off. So this is what our photo looked like before with just the presets on. And then this is with all the brushwork. So before, after. And I love that. And then quickly, I just want to click on here and kind of show you and tell you really what these brushes do. So this first one is going to help soften and make the skin glow. This one is for the eyes to bring out the light in the eyes, the pupils. Reduce red, you can use it as a brush and kind of rub it over anything that got a little saturated red or orange, like their skin. Reduce blues, I use this often in the sky or even a white shirt that's color casting blue. This is a nice one for that. Recover highlights, if anything got to be too bright, this is a nice one to paint on. And brighten shadows, if anything got to be too dark, you can brush this over that. Dodge highlights and burn shadows, this is your dodging and burning. Your soft sunlight is what I had put up in this top left corner. Your bright sunlight is a more harsh, kind of deeper yellow. That's really pretty when you have a true sunset as well. The fog and haze, you can use this to mimic kind of a hazy look. Sometimes I use it on top of my sunlight to make my sunlight look hazy. Warm up will make your image warm. Cool down will make your image cooler. Color pop will increase all the colors, kind of increase the vibrancy and saturation. Color drop's going to desaturate, so if you brush it on somewhere, it's going to desaturate that color. White boost is going to give a nice bright light to the photo. Contrast boost is exactly what it says. It's going to add contrast to wherever you put that on. Blur the background. You don't have to just use it on the background. That's just where I use it mostly. But you can get a brush. You can paint it anywhere you want to increase the blur. I do tend to rub it over mountains. You could rub it over skies to make the clouds a little softer. And then the last one is the sharpen details. And that one is exactly for what it says. It's just to sharpen anywhere that you feel needs to stand out a little more. I will turn that off. And I'll show you the before and after. Thanks, guys. And if you have any further questions or want to know more about the Fleetwood collection, please go to www.greaterthangotsby.com.